still have a few minutes. In the 60s, Western scientists were asked to visit a place in southern Russia. It was a village that had a miracle happening. It was called Abkhazia. And the miracle was this: people in that village were living well into their hundreds. And some of you know about this. How many of you know about this? But they were living well into their hundreds. And they were going there to find out what is the key to all this. One guy that met with them, Shurya Mitvav, sorry if I didn't get his name correct, came to him and claimed to have been born in 1805, 7 years before Napoleon invaded Moscow. Well, the Guinness Book of Records may dispute that. And it's not so much that he's claimed to be, actually when he died in 1973, 168 years old. But it's not so much that. We don't care about that. Because we don't know when he was born, and that's not the issue. The issue is this, that most of the people in that village lived beyond what scientists said was the upper limits of human life, which was about 115 years. That these people, by and large, were living into their hundreds. And that was pretty awesome. So one guy came to them, and they were doing an interview, and they said, you know, what's the secret here? You know, this is a miracle of this. Everybody's so prosperous and living long lives. And this one guy came up, and he said he was 140 years old. Well, you know, but he said there's one thing that we do, and the major thing that we do every day. Before we go to bed at night, we thank God for the day. We not only that, we bless the air we breathe, we bless the sunlight, we bless our heartbeat, we bless it all. We bless the food that appears in our life, we bless our family, and we bless all the experiences, all of them. It doesn't matter what they are. And we're grateful all the time. And that's what we do. In the morning when we get up, we bless the day, and we look forward to all the gifts, the treasures that are presented to us every day. That's all we do. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. On the other side, there was another research, and the National Health Organization asked a group of scientists to go in and check out something. They were worried that there was this tribe in Africa that had so much disease and so much illness. They were fearful that there would be an epidemic that would stem from that, creating havoc nationwide and worldwide. So they wanted the researchers to go in there and check it out. What's going on here? And when they got there, they were so shocked. It was not only illness, but it was the extreme poverty. The people there lived to be 40 years old. And the people who reached 40, they were considered old. And the bottom line is they didn't have enough food. They knew how to plant their goods and plant crops, but when the crops came up, they were just sickly and not very good. So they decided, let's go around to the neighboring villages and find out what's going on there. So they checked the neighboring villages, and they found that they were prosperous and thriving. People lived to long ages, their crops were wonderful, all of the other tribes were. So they came back to this one tribe trying to figure out what is going on, what is the problem. And the problem was this: they found that this particular tribe in deep poverty did not have the word thank you or gratitude in their language itself. Isn't that incredible? So when we say that the highest of all arts, the art of thanks living is what we like to call today, we know that it helps us. Another thing it does, and I'll wind this down a little bit with a story, it's kind of cute, I think. What it does for me, it helps me to not interpret what's going on as a victim. We go through this world interpreting every darn thing that goes on. Would you agree with that? Yes. I mean, you'll walk out of here, and you get in your car, as sometimes I do, and there's somebody going so slow, and we interpret that as, you know, what it is. And we, you know, it's an interpretation. Or somebody might not say, thank you, Angelo. And we interpret that as being some negative thing, or what did I do wrong, you know, all that kind of stuff. What I love about thanks living is that it helps me transcend interpreting everything as a victim. And so one of the greatest things that we can do then is to know that our interpretation becomes our manifestation. Did you know that? If I interpret something to be really bad for me, what am I going to experience? The law of attraction. We're going to experience all kinds of opportunities to have bad things happen to me. I'm going to be in great shape. I get to experience all this bad stuff. So our interpretation becomes our manifestation, right? So what it does is it helps us to not interpret negatively. Harold, I've got to tell you about Harold. Harold, and I'm going to wind up with Harold. Harold was invited to go visit his aunt. She lived in a mountainous area, and he had to go through a curvy, really narrow road. Well, Harold interprets the world from the dark side. Do you have friends who do that? From the dark side. So he says, you know, we're born. We have to go to school, and the teachers are all lousy and boring. And then we have to find a job. We have to pay taxes, and then we die. What good is all this? So everything's dark. He views his life experience, he interprets it as blackness. So this time, he decided, yeah, I think I will go up there. And usually he complains about the road, the county never does it right, it's too narrow, it's this and unsafe. But so he decided to do this. I'm going to stop at the edge of town at the Frosty-Freeze, and I love ice cream, it's going to put me in a good mood. I'm going to get the largest ice cream cone that I could possibly get. And as I'm going up the hill, I'll be eating my ice cream, and I'm going to have a really good feeling about this whole trip. And it'll be really cool. So he's going up and he's licking his ice cream. I like ice cream too, by the way. It's a parrot. Don't say that. That's not good. But anyway, he's licking his ice cream. He's going up the road. It's very narrow and curvy. And he's coming up to the highest curve in the road. And this other car is coming down. And the gal, there's hardly enough room for both of them. She goes by. She lowers her window. And she sees him eating his ice cream. Big ice cream cone, and she yells, "Pig!" Oh, you never want to call pig to Harold. He does not accept it. So as he's riding the bend at the curb, he looks back at her as she's going down, and he says, "Stupid idiot! Ice cream's good!" And he drives further up in the curve, and here in the center of the road was a large 400-pound wild boar. So he went to miss it, and he went down into the gutter. And so we interpret our way through life. And what I love about Thanksgiving, it puts us into that same vibration as the source of all there is. And when we do that, we have then the awareness and the opportunity to take sovereignty over our life and to make a difference for not our ourselves, but everybody that we come in contact with. And let's say loud and clear,
and so it is.
I'm done.